Welcome back to Dark Corners Streaming. When we review Spanish horrors of the 60s, then it tends to be that high camp Euro-Gothic that I personally love, exemplified by the films of Paul Naschy. But there is more going on. The Sweet Sound of Death, or La Lamada, apologies for pronunciation, which you can stream on Amazon, is a low-budget ghost story that, initially at least, feels a million miles from that familiar world of castles and scantily clad vampires.
Hello.
In fact, the vibe is far more towards the French New Wave as we meet young lovers Dominique and Pablo, a relatively early role in the storied and still very much active career of Emilio Gutierrez Caba. But the dialogue is more morbid than the romance suggests.
I'm attracted.
To bullfights?
No, I meant to death.
Setting up what is very much the theme of the film.
Love and death.
And Dominique extracts a strange promise from her boyfriend.
The first one who dies must come back to Earth. From the beyond.
I don't think it's a spoiler to reveal what happens when Dominique takes a plane journey, although the way in which it happens is the most original and arresting moment in the film. As the sound leaves Pablo's world, and but as the distraught Pablo tries to learn if his beloved is amongst the survivors, he gets a call from her.
I'll be expecting you on our bench in the park. We'll pretend nothing has happened.
She says that, but
You see, I'm really dead.
Come on, don't make jokes like that. Not around here.
she was always morbid, so Pablo is happy to write this off.
You're not dead, my precious. No more dead than I am.
But strange events make him look closer.
She was killed.
Despite a few evocative shots, the film suffers for a dreary midsection that did almost make me switch off, as this becomes a very standard investigation.
She's alive, Professor. She hasn't been buried.
But do stick with it, as the gothic chiller you might have been expecting earlier suddenly arrives.
And we've all been expecting you.
When Pablo meets his prospective in-laws, and we're into the nightmare shadows of early Mario Bava, as the film performs some last-minute twists and misdirects.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here!
And even a very weird jump shock. The film has a creepy opening and a creepy closing.
I'll be waiting for you.
But very different flavours of creepy that feel almost like two different films.
Now the truth.
If you told me this was two shorts stuck together, I'd believe it. But as it is, I kind of like it as a grab bag of influences. 1 minute gothic, the next philosophical.
That isn't love, Dominique. It's an infatuation with eternity.
1 minute new wave,
I'm in love with all the Spaniards I see.
Just with one.
the next old world. From stately home to cheap apartment.
Pablo, I'd like to have a child, wouldn't you?
A scene that is definitely quoting the opening of Psycho. Though there are lots of familiar tropes, the tone is so up and down that they never feel predictable.
You can't go on a night like this.
I'll come back tomorrow morning.
No.
I do think if you cut out the midsection, you'd be left with a great Twilight Zone-y hour, but as long as you stick with it, then it does get good, even if it never gets great. If nothing else, it is the answer to the question, what if Truffaut's Antoine Doinel visited a haunted house? A question no one has ever asked, but who wouldn't want to know the answer?
I've heard that you Britons act more like ghosts than humans sometimes. Brrr.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate every single like. Have you seen this film, and if so, what did you think? What other films mix up genres to some effect, good or bad? Let us know in the comments below.